Hello, everybody. My name is Luke Flaherty. I'm the founder of Wave Consulting, and welcome back to another episode of the Party Wave podcast. Today's episode will be focusing on landing pages and their importance in digital marketing. We're going to cover things like the definition of a landing page, what is it, different types of landing pages, what you can expect to include in your landing page, tools for making them. We're going to touch on a little bit of optimization and CRO strategies at the very end, like A/B testing. A couple of local updates, like we talked about in the first episode. I want to keep business local and kind of touch on something from local each time we come back on here on the Party Wave podcast. So this week, it only seems fitting to mention how the waves were pretty great this week out at the beach. I missed this morning, Friday, June 14th, which if you're in the Wrightsville Beach area, that's a shame because it was green 3 to 4 today on Surfline, which is rare around here. But nonetheless, the waves were great this week. So if you were out there, I hope that you also enjoyed it. We're going to jump into the importance of landing pages now. So like I mentioned in the beginning, we're going to be talking about landing pages as they pertain to digital marketing. We're going to explain how landing pages are crucial for converting your traffic. We're going to highlight how they play a role in lead generation, sales, and how they should scale with you and your business. So some brief stats on the average landing page conversion rate, because I'm sure that's what's going through everybody's head. Kind of some stats I pulled aside here. I wanted to mention that the average landing page converts about 9% of visitors, and that is, we're not even touching on how you bring traffic in, but the average landing page that is tracking conversions, right, converts about 9% of visitors. With proper optimization, conversion rates can easily exceed 20%. Right? Especially a lot of these changes come from the type of traffic you're driving through your landing page. But, if you're driving the right traffic through and you're still not having the correct features of landing page, you're not going to reach that 20%. Top performing landing pages reach up to 43%. There you go. That's that big number that everybody likes to talk about, but we're going to keep things a little bit more mellow today. We're not going to be holding ourselves to the standard of 43%. We're going to be looking to attain that 9%, right? The ultimate kind of overview into what to do if you're looking into optimizing your landing page, understanding what a landing page is and utilizing them for your business. I'm kind of touching on that guide. So we're going to start off with what is a landing page. We're going to define it. It's a standalone web page. Your website is one thing and the landing page is another. Although they might be in the same tool on the same platform, it should be considered a standalone web page, and that is standing alone from your main website. It serves a singular purpose. It is only there for converting visitors into leads / customers / prospects, meaning it is designed to be reached through a specific link, specifically attached to a campaign. This landing page likely should not really be reachable via your normal website. It should be designed to be reached through that campaign link only, such as an ad or an email, is what I mean by campaign link. The primary goal of a landing page is for conversion. It's to encourage visitors to take one specific action. We shouldn't be doubling down on multiple actions. More on that later. But this singular action could be anything from signing up for a newsletter to purchasing a product, right? Landing pages can be a little bit versatile. That's where we get into kind of the cross section between it shouldn't be reachable from your main page, but it can in some situations. When you're purchasing a product, right, a product page should be reachable from the rest of your website. But then at that point, you're getting into territory like, is that still a landing page? You get the point, right? And you can purchase products from multiple pages. That's also to be understood. So I want to touch on my favorite tip at the very beginning here. My favorite tip when I come across landing pages and I'm optimizing landing pages for clients is removing the navigation bar, removing the navigation links. Now, hang in with me because I know this can sound a little bit, controversial, or it's on every other page for our website. Why would it not be on the normal website? I think you can see from if I'm suggesting it, then kind of the reasons why, right? This choice is intentional to minimize distractions. So keeping visitors focused on the one action that you're trying to have them take on the page. And by eliminating the exit points, like other pages on your website, you can keep the visitor's attention more on the offer at hand on that landing page. Where you spent all the effort to get them to the landing page, and then you're going to let them navigate away to about my company, right? You can have a logo at the top. This is typically what we end up doing with our clients is you keep your logo with that being a link to your main page. That is more than enough for clients. We see it doesn't subtract or take away from your page navigation. Clients and potential customers aren't being distracted, aren't being upset because they can't reach other pages of your website if they want more information. We're going to pivot off that into how we use a landing page and when to use a landing page, right? If we're not going to have a nav bar, I know I touched on they should serve one purpose and they should be designed to be used from links in campaigns. Links for what in campaigns, right? What are some use cases where landing pages can be the right answer? When are they useful over just a website page? Because in my head, I know if I'm hearing this, right, a web page can be used for two purposes then. A web page can just be, it can serve as my landing page and be a web page, right? So let's kind of touch on when to use a landing page. The big thing that most of you are going to be thinking of when you think of landing pages are lead magnets. A lead magnet is something valuable that you offer to potential clients, leads, prospects in exchange for their contact information. It could be like a free book. Checklists are very big right now. A webinar, a pre-recorded video, or any other resource that you think your target audience would find useful. A lead magnet is a very comprehensive solution to a very narrow problem that, if done right, will lead the user, will lead the consumer to the next problem, which ideally your business solves, right? Now they trust you to solve this issue because you've already solved this one before it. The way I see it is there's two outcomes for offering a lead magnet. They're now A, non-buying social proof. So you solved a problem, but they don't have the next one. Okay, you solved the problem. You solved their problem and they don't have the budget for the next. Well, you were never going to convert on that offer because they don't have the budget to convert. The second outcome is they ascend to then be product buyers, right? They see how much work it is, they see how much work it is and that you know how to do it. So they just hire you to do it for them. And B, they see what it really pertains and change their mind. So then they're social proof and you help them out. So our two outcomes from offering a lead magnet are they're now non-buying social proof and they ascend to be product buyers. An example of a lead magnet is, say you're running a digital marketing campaign promoting your free guide on 10 tips for effective SEO, right? And a landing page for this campaign would feature a headline about the guide, a description about its benefits. You want to keep this emotional, and an opt-in form to download the guide. Another example can be free consultations. I don't like this model as much, right? Because we use meeting pages for most things, but free consultations landing pages are tried and true. They're still plenty effective across many different niches and industries. They're designed to get visitors to book a free consultation, right? The idea is to provide enough value and build enough trust right there on that landing page that you encourage visitors to take the next step in booking a sales call. That's why I don't like free consultations as much, because it's obvious that it's a sales call, and downloading something to use on your own time is a lot lower commitment, right, than getting on a real call with real people, and then you have to deal with no calls, no shows, right? I prefer to keep building that trust at this point. So if we start on the landing page, if the page revolves around your meeting link or a free consult/audit, then you should be answering pre-call questions on that page. It gives you more insight into the meeting. It encourages them to book. And if you can do this in the form of a video, then do that. An example of this free consultations landing page lead magnet is you're a financial advisor. You might run an ad campaign offering a free 30-minute consultation to discuss investment strategies. We look at highlighting the benefits of a consultation, reminding them that it's free. Including testimonials are huge here for free consultations and sales calls, and featuring that scheduling tool, right? It's got to be seamless and it's got to be directly on the page. We can't navigate to then another page. It needs to be embeddable. The last thing I want to touch on, and I want to touch on this very briefly, is product sales landing pages. Because like I said, we get into this in-between world where we're talking about product pages or landing pages, and now we can sell from two different pages. And how we tailor that to specific things. We usually recommend product sales landing pages to our medium to large size clients, right? You're not necessarily driving the traffic to warrant this kind of A/B testing and personalization on the pages. If you're more small to medium, and this is all determined by units sold, right? So the goal on a product page, a product sales landing page, is to provide necessary information about the product and persuade the page visitor to make that purchase. So an e-commerce store might create a landing page for a new product for each of their new product launches. It would include images of the product specifically tailored to that specific campaign, descriptions that maybe touch back on the campaign that the user came from, customer reviews from the platform that the user came from, right? Remember, we're linking out to this campaign link. That's the point of a landing page. And so this setup streamlines the purchase process by focusing the visitor's attention on the product and getting their external emotional benefits by drawing back that personalization from where they came from. So main takeaways on the different types of landing pages here. I guess not different types of landing pages. We're still kind of defining the landing pages. But some main takeaways I want you to take away from some of the main things I want you to take away from defining a landing page is that a landing page is designed with one goal in mind, and that is to convert visitors into leads or customers. It is not just another page on your website. It's a standalone asset focused on driving specific actions. The second thing, we want to opt for no nav bars on a landing page. Why opt for no nav bar on a landing page? Because every link is an opportunity for the visitor to leave without converting. But lead magnets are the last thing I want to touch on for main takeaways on landing pages. When you think about lead magnets, you need to think about them as a very comprehensive solution to a very narrow problem. That if you do it right, you will lead users right into the next problem that ideally your business solves. Whether it's a free guide to a webinar, the goal for this lead magnet is to get contact information and start nurturing that potential lead. We can't forget to segment these leads at that time. Two other subsets of landing pages that I want to touch on are the psychological side of landing pages. Some people just find this useful, and this is where you can apply your personal beliefs and personal thoughts in these kind of topics, right? So when we're looking at the emotional side of landing pages and how we want to structure them, we're looking to capitalize on a couple of psychological principles, leverage these things. We're looking to leverage scarcity, urgency, and social proof. So how can you make things seem scarce, right? And we want to do this in an official way, a truthful way, because in reality, you just end up pissing off a lot of people when they catch you creating fake scarcity, and for that matter, urgency as well. Social proof, if you're able to have a face that people recognize, people know on your page, this boosts conversions like nothing else. Yeah, and I want to go over some metrics that we can measure to see if our landing page is having any success. We want to really look at, like I said, that conversion rate, if you have the resources to track that through. Bounce rate, if we can see that, you should be able to set that up in any landing page tool you're using. And time on page. If we can measure these three, we're going to be able to fine tune that landing page and get access to split testing or A/B testing, which we're going to touch on a little bit later. But yeah, before we keep moving on, we're going to go into a little bit of a different topic, right? I want to distinguish how we just define landing pages from the types of landing pages. So when we talk about types of landing pages, the first main type is going to be squeeze pages. We're going to talk about squeeze pages and we're going to talk about click-through pages. Your lead magnet pages, where you're talking about that guide, that checklist, like I said, are doing well at the moment. Those are your squeeze pages. And these are designed to capture visitor information, such as email addresses, by offering something valuable in exchange, that lead magnet. Their main priorities are lead generation, prospect gathering. They're the biggest part, right? This is what everything goes through. This is your conversion mechanism. We can't, I want to touch on an important thing here where obviously landing pages are how we convert and build an email list and nurture these potential customers. But we can't forget to segment the contacts when they come in through the various squeeze pages ahead of time, right? Too many times we're building email lists and we're throwing them all into the same list without segmenting them ahead of time, or at least identifying what makes this lead special about where it came from. We can track sources, but oftentimes that's not enough. We want to measure things like interests. What are they looking at on here, right? A lot of times we have multiple lead magnets. We actually suggest you have upwards of 10 lead magnets. So you want to talk about which lead magnet was this person interested in? What platform did they come from, right? We want to segment this here so we can tailor our sales sequences around it. Getting into some examples and use cases of lead magnet squeeze pages, like we talked about earlier, offering the complete solutions to a narrow problem. We're going to do that, right? This can look like most people opt for a lower effort item, kind of like an ebook or a presentation. You don't really need to assemble the entire team to make up something like this. Most of the time, if you're working in marketing or sales at your company, you know a little bit about it. You're able to offer that free ebook, PDF, presentation, such as like a download our free guide to SEO type of thing, right? These lead magnets scale in terms of efficiency based on the amount of effort you put in. So we then go to webinar signups, recording webinars ahead of time, getting checklists that are fancy Excel sheets, all the way up to free trials as kind of the most effort thing, right? You have to integrate that into the product if you don't have that already. Free trials are very high converting. In terms of squeeze pages or lead magnet pages are where you build your email list. They typically offer something valuable in return for the visitor's contact information, making them essential for lead generation. Your squeeze page's main objective should be supplying the user with the information that they came for, nothing else. You're not extorting your potential prospect, you are helping them in exchange for their contact information. The second type of page we're going to touch on are click-through pages. These are often overlooked, right, because they're less impact. This isn't specifically where your email list is coming from. They're designed to warm up visitors and build interest about the next thing that's coming up, right? They're designed to just engage with your visitor and warm them up before sending on to preferably a product page or a buying page, right? They provide enough information to pique your interest and encourage the visitor or prospect to click through to the next step. This can be like product features pages, service overview pages, or internal linking pages, right? So if your page hosts other things like blog posts, we talked about in the last episode, these pages are most important to develop in turn with those blog pages to offer more detailed information about the pillars of your business. By having a backlog of click-through pages, you're able to make your blogs that much more impactful with little to no effort, right? Providing an overview of a service is another great way to utilize click-through pages, and linking those into that booking or consultation page, right? We're able to kind of talk about the services your business offers, right? In an ideal world, talk about the service your business offers, and you're giving more information about that. And this leads into book or consult with our experts, right? Learn more about our comprehensive marketing services. In the product features pages, nothing special about these. You're just going to want to look for along the lines of like, discover the features of our new smartphone, right? You're just piquing interest here. You're going to want to pull out all the stops, emotional benefits you can think of to try and get these people to click through and give them more information, right? Click-through pages in the end serve as informational landing pages for the main pillars of your business. The goal of these pages should be to educate the prospect on the topic. Click-through pages serve as that bridge between an ad and the final purchase decision. They warm up visitors by providing extra information and encourage that next click, which in turn increases emotional investment in the purchase and decreases product abandonment, we find. Think of the click-through page as a teaser trailer for a movie. It gives you just enough to get excited and compels you to take the next step. Metrics on these look the same as normal landing pages. Both of these, we're looking at that conversion rate, bounce rate, and time up page. Different types of landing pages have different benchmarks for success. So, and this is all ending up to be what matters most for your business. Regardless of type, though, keeping landing pages focused, user-friendly, and aligned with the campaign's goals are typically the best courses of action. So when I say keeping a landing page user-friendly and aligned with the campaign's goals, I want to take a stop here and talk about what elements does a high-converting landing page contain, right? We touched on this at the beginning. We're going to go with no nav bar. We're going to opt to remove that nav bar to help keep visitors focused on that primary reason they're on the page, the primary call to action that the whole page revolves around, just reducing the chance of them to click away and navigate away to a different part of the site. For example, if you have a lead magnet page offering your free ebook, your free checklist, you will 9 times out of 10 have a higher conversion rate if it lacks a nav bar. Visitors focus solely on the offer and the opt-in form without being tempted to explore your other pages. Not to mention you get more screen space when you remove the nav bar. Removing this nav bar from your landing page, you get two benefits from removing a nav bar in your landing page. You boost conversion rate by eliminating distractions and page navigations, and you get more screen space above the fold for design and content. Your hero section is the next thing you should be thinking of when you hear above the fold. The hero section is the first thing your visitors see, and it must capture their attention as soon as possible, right? I think there are two best versions, and that is subheading, heading, and button with the CTA, or heading, subheading, image, video, 3 bullet points, right? So, and then end button. So you either go heading, subheading, button, or you go image, subheading, button, image. You either go heading, subheading, button, or you go heading, subheading, image, bullet points, button. This section should clearly communicate the core value of your offer and do so quickly, right? While being visually appealing and structurally sound. You're going to want to make sure this page is operatable across different screen widths, different devices. When we talk about emotional and logical sides of the landing page, the emotional appeal is important here, but not as important as a logical appeal. But in terms of emotional sense, your headline should focus on the transformation or benefit the visitor will receive instead of, how you're going to explain it. For instance, see if you have a possible claim with a free consultation. When we're talking about claims, these are some of the biggest competitors in the landing page space. And so if anybody has this tested, it will be them. Instead of saying, follow our 10-step guide to find out if you have a free claim, you're going to want to focus on how you're benefiting the visitor, how you're going to solve their problem. And in terms of logical appeal, it should the subheadline should support the main headline by explaining how the result should be achieved, right? So if you're appealing emotionally in that headline, the next question your user is going to have is, well, how are they going to deliver the solution? And so this is where you talk about exactly the method in which you're going to do so, right? You're going to say download our free guide and learn step-by-step methods to increase your sales by 50%, right? Throwing any metric is great. That keyword about download is great instead of just the biggest disappointment comes when visitors expect to get a download and you link them to a resource on your page and then they can't take it home with them, right? So you want to let them know if they're going to be taking something home, prepare them, let them prepare, right? Your subheader can also just be a disclaimer like no credit card required or we will never share your information is quite effective. Your CTA should be clear and low commitment, but also action oriented, such as download my free guide now, right? A little bit more than the usual, but still low commitment is what you want to focus on. You don't want it to say book a call with me, right? That is extremely much higher commitment than download my free guide now. You're talking about relying on somebody else. You're talking about showing up to something in the future. Just more decisions for the user to make. You want to allow them to make this decision on their own to remain low commitment. When we talk about opt-in forms for a landing page, we're talking about that form that they fill out to receive the lead magnet, right? We're going to want to keep this simple. A fun statistic I like to throw around is for every added field you have in an opt-in form, your conversion rate goes down by 50%, right? So we're going to cut that in half just because we want phone numbers. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and I would not advise it. I would advise just sticking to that email, right? We're typically able to gather the rest of the information we need at a later point. Your opt-in form should have clear and actionable CTA buttons, just like the rest of your page, but they differ a little bit, right? We don't want 5 to 6 words. We want 1 to 3 words, right? Although we're going to avoid vague terms, kind of like click here or submit. We're going to opt to go a little bit further where download free guide or start free trial. And this is up to you whether you want to throw in my or not, right? Download my free guide, start my free trial. We tend to opt for not using the word my because it can be a little confusing. Is it the customers or is it the businesses, right? So we're going to want to be specific in this opt-in form, right? This is where you can kind of be a little bit more assertive. You're not garnering the user's emotions because they filled in the information. We just want to give them a clear next step. My favorite section to talk about in opt-in forms are trust building statements and privacy assurances, what we like to call them. including statements like "we respect your privacy" or "your information is safe with us" is super strong when we talk about opt-in forms and concerns with data misuse in this day and age. Some other examples are like, "We will never share your email. Your information is safe with us." The more personal you can make this message, the better, obviously. When we're moving down the landing page components, right? When we're moving down the page and we're talking about what else, social proof is big to include on here. Think about your cardboard cutouts of people holding your book, right? If we can relate our product back to somebody else or something else this person knows, that's strong here because our person's navigated down the page. They didn't land here. They clearly still have some questions, right? Our ad didn't truly convert them. And so we're going to pull out all the stops here. These are testimonials, reviews, logos of other businesses, statistics, right? If you can get your ratings from Google or Trustpilot, you want to do that. Like over 1,000 satisfied customers on Google reviews, or rated 4.7 out of 5 on Trustpilot. Pictures of real people are huge here, especially if you can get somebody more of a celebrity status to endorse, somebody that's known around the area that you're targeting or in the online niche where your users typically reside. You're going to want to go for that. Below social proof, right, we're going to start prioritizing benefit sections. And I want to call action here that we're not talking about feature sections. We're talking about benefit sections. What's the difference between features and benefit sections? Well, feature sections typically highlight the attributes of your product or service, while benefit sections typically outline the positive outcomes or results that users will experience from your product or service. We're going to focus on benefits to connect emotionally with our visitors, right? Landing pages are emotionally based pages a lot of the time, which is why we like to use benefit sections over feature sections. For example, instead of saying 24/7 customer support, we're going to highlight the benefit. We're going to say get assistance anytime to ensure your business runs smoothly. That's what I mean when I talk about the difference between benefits pages and features pages. If we can include visual aids here, even such as icons, right? It's going to be good. Visual representation with images, videos, and icons are always beneficial, and it goes in that ranking, right? If you include a video, do it. If you can't include a video, but you can include an image, do it. If you can't include video or image, you can throw in an icon. You never know what bit of information will persuade your user to take action. So if you have multiple videos, multiple images of multiple people, don't worry about choosing which person. Put them both on there, right? We're not going to A/B test this part. So if you don't put them both on there, we're not going to get around to the second one. And you don't know which people are going to come on there. Know the first, but not know the second. So why let that go to waste, right? When we talk about descriptions in our benefit section, we're going to want to keep them short and focused on just that benefit, right? Save time with our automated scheduling system. We're not going to get into the 20-word descriptions, right? Our person's looking to make a quick, borderline impulsive decision on a landing page, and so they're not going to be looking to, frankly, read all that, right? The rest of the page, after we've done our heading, our subheading, image, video, call to action, 3 bullet points, social proof, and opt-in form, I think, if I haven't said that, and benefit section, the rest of the page is just going to be objection handling, right? We're going to pull out all the components we can think of here, whatever you got in your backlog. We're going to first probably circle around to FAQ sections targeting common objection that your product gets. How does the free trial work? What if I'm not satisfied? We're going to want to just provide reassuring answers, human answers to reduce hesitation here. Some examples and tips for having an effective rebuttal is using testimonials and providing data, right? 98% of our users see results in the first month. The tweets card, right, is super strong component. And at the end of your page, you're always going to want to end with a CTA, right? You're always going to want to end with your button again. Repeat that main call to action. Since this is at the bottom, make sure that you are reiterating this the same way you are at the top. Call back to when we initially decided to come in on this page, see if we wanted to make that decision. Use phrases like "don't miss out," "join now," or "start your journey today" if you want to really step it up from the top. If you take that frame of mind where you're like, all right, they got to the bottom, let's kind of try something different, right? We're not going to include "don't miss out" at the top. Don't miss out, join now. Some of this immediate action stuff can be reserved for this bottom of page CTA. So just recapping things from this section. I know it was a lot. We talked about pretty much all the main components of a landing page. I want to touch, there's, 6 main things we talked about, right? The first being above the fold, or the part of your page that's being seen on page load, is the most important part of your landing page. It needs to grab attention and clearly communicate the resulting value of your offer. The second thing is, when it comes to opt-in forms, less is more. Each information request field decreases your conversion rate by 50%. The fewer fields you have, the higher your conversion rates, right? Getting phone numbers is not worth losing 50% of your audience. Social proof is like a trust badge for your landing page. Use testimonials, reviews, logos, celebrity endorsements to show visitors other people that have benefited or recommend your offer. The next is, remember we touched on landing pages are emotional website pages. This being said, focus on your benefits section, not your features section. Tell your visitors exactly how your product or service will improve their lives, rather than explaining what cool trick it does. When we talk about the rest of your page, objection handling, we talk about your FAQ sections. Your FAQ section should answer the most common objections to not only your lead magnet, but your end product. You should address these common concerns in a human way and provide reassuring answers. This section's an easy win. You're going to want to, like we just finished talking about, ending your landing page with an extra CTA, like a button, repeating that main call to action in your header, is super strong, right? You're not going to want to forget this. Encourage visitors to take immediate action in this section. This is where you can get a little bit more experimental. You just want to remind users why they clicked on the page in the first place. When we talk about tools for building landing pages, this is really a pick your poison type of thing, right? There's plenty of tools and they all accomplish pretty much the same thing. I just want to throw out a few names. We don't receive any compensation for what tools you use, but a lot of people already use HubSpot and don't know that they have a landing page feature built in that will integrate right into their CRM. That's typically low investment for a lot of clients to go ahead, branch out into the landing page space and start upgrading their marketing efforts that way. Unbounce is typically known for its drag and drop builder being pretty good and focusing on A/B testing. We don't do a lot of A/B testing like we're going to touch on in the next section. We do a lot of A/B testing, but not as severe as you might think. So Unbounce is probably the first of our recommendations. Lead Pages is not a lot of people know about this, but it offers better templates than most, and its design tools are a little bit above the standard. And finally, we're going to suggest Webflow. This is just the best platform to go for if you're serious about doing your landing pages and upgrading your marketing efforts. Webflow really combines super robust design flexibility with the development features, right? So you can really customize this much further than any other recommendation I've given to this point. When you're looking for a tool, if you don't like any of the 4 I just mentioned, you're going to want to look for 3 main things. You're going to want to look for, can it A/B test, which is a simple yes or no. You don't have to worry about out of the box, how does it A/B test? You don't want to go that in depth. You want to know, does it A/B test? Is it a platform that's concerned with A/B testing? Does it integrate with marketing tools? Ensure it integrates with your CRM. Don't go ahead and get building that landing page and then it doesn't integrate with your CRM. Then you just have to take another step with Make or Zapier, right? And you're going to want to put eyes on this design interface. You're going to want to look for intuitive design tools that make sense to you, right? Don't just take my word for it that Webflow is the most intuitive. I've been using it for a long time, so it might be the most intuitive to me. But if HubSpot looks better to you, that is the one you want to go for. So I want to kind of finish this off, I think, here with a brief touch on A/B testing and conversion rate optimization. This is a much larger topic that I'll probably save for another time, for maybe the next, I think our next topic is going to be email marketing, but conversion rate optimization is something we're super serious about here at Wave Consulting. So I don't think it'll be too long before I focus on that as well. But in terms of the only thing I want to touch on for landing pages is A/B testing. You've heard me mention this a couple times to this point during this podcast. And when you hear A/B testing, right, what is it? A/B testing is taking, for example, taking half your traffic that is seeing this online and showing them this and comparing which one converts better. When we talk about what we're going to test for A/B testing, we're talking about key elements like headlines, images, CTAs, form fields, and layouts if you really want, but we don't ever advise testing your layout. We advise just changing your layout, but we'll get to that. Each of these will likely impact your landing page's conversion rate, whether it be for the better or worst, right? Most of the time it will change. Surprisingly enough, right? This was hard for me to understand at the beginning, that these changes you make don't just give you a whole nother page. They either give you a better or a worse page, and you want to know that answer 100% of the time. How do we conduct effective A/B tests? Well, we have a specific method that we like to follow. We immediately adopt a weekly testing cadence. We change one element at a time once a week. This is either the headline or the media above the fold. Example, in week 1, we test a new headline. In week 2, we test a different image or replace it with a video. And we repeat this until we're satisfied with the result. Typically, that conversion rate stops dramatically changing in either direction. Then you can think about moving on to the more complex and frankly less important parts of the page. This ensures that each change is thought through thoroughly, and its impact is clearly understood. You get all week to think about this one change you're going to make, and then you're able to analyze these results with significant traffic and significant meaning, right? When we're talking about how we analyze these results, when you're making your A/B tests, if you're doing ad spend per day, you're going to want to test your A/Bs with significant traffic, meaning more than the regular. And you're going to want to do the same amount of traffic each week. So up that ad spend, maybe 50%, maybe double it if you can, if you see the value here, right? So when you're analyzing those A/B testing results, you want to make sure you're doing so with enough data. So you boost your traffic, meaning you boost your ad spend to draw actionable insights. That way you can make better decisions. If you're looking for a time to double down on ad spend, this is the time. Your A/B testing is the time. The metrics that we track during A/B testing, pretty similar to just the metrics for a landing page. We're looking for a deeper conversion rate. If you have the business processes in place and adequate, we're looking for a deeper conversion rate here. If you have the business processes in place and you have adequate client acquisition rates, track those clients that ascend from the landing page to making a purchase from these A/B tests. And we're able to do that across all softwares. If your conversion rate is low, for example, consider a new headline, right? Or just new form of media. We like to find landing pages that are using images and give them a test with videos. That typically results in the highest conversion rate improvement. That's an easy win to try. So we're monitoring conversion rates, bounce rates. For bounce rates, an example would be a higher bounce rate might indicate that visitors aren't finding what they expected. So we can try either simplifying the page layout, improving load times, or making the CTA more prominent. So that's how you would counter a bounce rate, right? We're also going to measure time on page. So if we can track how long visitors stay on the page, we can gauge engagement or entertainment. For example, if visitors are spending little time on the page, consider adding more engaging content above the fold. Definitely replace that image with a video, or more compelling visuals if you don't have any kind of image. Our form completion rates, we're going to want to evaluate how many visitors complete and submit your forms. If we can, we're going to want to track how many people start it and don't finish it. If form completion rates are low, we're going to reduce those number of fields. Is typically why we're seeing low form completion rates. If we already are at our lowest amount of form fields, we're going to add more trust building statements like we respect your privacy, switch up that statement, or get a Trustpilot score, right? That CTA can also be updated, but most of the time that's not the issue. So in terms of best practices for A/B testing, like I said, we want to keep it simple and focused, avoid extra decisions, set that cadence once per week, make those changes of one thing, think it through, and measure results effectively with increased traffic. We want to make sure that your A/B test is mobile responsive. Put in significant work here. We don't want to, you spent a lot of time on your landing page, spend a good amount of time and good amount of effort making sure those changes that you make for your A/B test don't mess up, right? Because then we've increased traffic, we've increased investment to do A/B test, and it's not reportable because we messed up the design of the page. Strong visuals are important. This is where you really need to shine on those things. We need to get high quality visuals that are emotionally appealing for your landing pages during your A/B tests. Typically, going to the extreme ends of the spectrum is important when you're talking about engaging visuals for a A/B test. If we tried this one with a puppy, we're going to try this one with a cat, right? We're not going to do a different kind of puppy. So I think that's all I really want to touch on for A/B tests today, and conversion rate optimization as a whole. And to recap kind of the things we talked about for A/B testing, I want to hit on 4 points. First, change one element at a time, such as the headline or image, each week to see what drives better conversions. That's all. Second, we recommend keeping A/B testing super simple, one time per week. Change one thing on your landing page. 90% of the time, it should be your headline or image video. We'll just skip right to the fourth. Make sure your landing pages are mobile responsive. With so much traffic coming from mobile devices, that's the most important part of your landing page. Get that right in your A/B testing as well. So, we've now touched on A/B testing. We've touched on types of landing pages. We've touched on elements of a landing page. We defined a landing page for like 15 minutes. I think that is an adequate first jump into landing pages. If you're looking for more at this point, that is a good sign. That means that you understand the value of a landing page. We do offer this service, but I hope that today, if you came into this podcast not knowing anything about landing pages, then you left knowing more than you need to, right? If you want to go and try to implement this for yourself, I want you to feel confident in being able to do so. Trust me, you'll be able to do it. Just keep it simple. Re-listen to this if you need to. We covered all the aspects you should need to know to get started. Now, I'm going to go and continue trying to make sure that everything I talked about is applied on our landing pages, which is an eternal battle. It is never over. If you're interested in implementing anything you heard in this episode on your site, reach out and you will get in contact with me and we can get it sorted at Wave Consulting, right? So, anyways, thanks for listening to the Party Wave podcast. My name is Luke. I'm the founder of Wave Consulting, and I will talk to you next time. Thanks again. Bye.